Nakhle, CEO, Crystal Energy. Good morning and thanks so much for joining.
Good morning, Alex. How are you?
Very well, thank you so much. Carl, I was wondering, let me just kick off with what's driving the price action today when it comes to energy market. I'm asking because it looks like that someone hit the pause button in terms of rally.
Well, look, we're still in this area of big uncertainty prevailing in the market. Mind you, this is happening at the back of an already tight market that we saw earlier this year and was pretty expected. But what was not expected was this war on Ukraine, the Russian invasion of Ukraine, and the way it has escalated so rapidly, and still there is no end in sight. So the longer this war is going to drag, the more we're going to see some kind of different, guesswork in terms of how long it's going to last, what are the repercussions that we could see out there. And you're seeing also like the sanctions and the reactions of great international powers, how it's unfolding as if you're peeling a lettuce, so like one step after the other. So at the beginning, for example, it was ruled out that sanctions would target Russian energy exports. But then we saw Canada, the US and the UK taking this extra step and imposing embargoes on Russian oil exports. Now the EU is in this talk. So I wouldn't rule out everything, and that could also happen. We don't know yet. I know that the EU is more divided and perhaps more exposed actually than other countries to what could happen with Russia. But the kind of uncertainty that we have in the market, currently in the market, that's translating into greater volatility and putting upward pressure on prices.
Yeah, that's for sure. I was wondering, do you think that the market has changed forever?
Well, forever is a big word, right? But after each crisis, you do have fundamental changes. I'm not talking here about higher prices or supply. Supplies will respond. It's a question of time. But what could really be perhaps forever, and you maybe were right here, Alex, is the impact on demand. Because we saw throughout history, the history of the oil industry, whenever we had major crises, which translated into rapid increase in prices and price spikes, especially if they lasted longer than, for example, just a day or two or a couple of weeks, then the outcome has been always like structural demand destruction, whereby we lost some demand in reaction to prices, but that demand did not come back afterwards. So that's what we mean with structural destruction of demand. That can stay with us and can accelerate the longer prices stay elevated at the levels that we are seeing today or even higher.
Carol, I was wondering, do you think that the global leaders' net zero pledges will be put aside for some time, considering, of course, the ambient we are in, specifically here in Europe? We're amidst a war, literally.
Mind you, the net zero targets are for the next few decades. We're talking about 2050 or 2060 for some countries. So I doubt that an energy crisis like what we are seeing today is going to put those plans aside. It is actually a wake-up call that maybe some plans and some policies need to be revisited, in a sense that the energy transition, investment in renewable energy by alone, without being accompanied by investment in conventional fuels, primarily oil and gas, to have the infrastructure needed to provide at least the backup for when the sun is not shining or the wind is not blowing, then that by itself is needed to accelerate the energy transition. I think this is what we are seeing today, more than, let's say, parking aside the net zero targets. Of course, it's going to vary between countries. So maybe in China, we're going to see, hold on a minute, energy security is a priority for us. And actually, to be fair to them, they've always said that. But I saw an article recently on one of the government agencies' website where they blame part of some of the factors of the energy crisis in Europe on a fast and violent energy transition. So the reaction to the energy transition is not going to be homogeneous around the world, but I doubt we're going to see like these targets being put on the side and we move away from that and revisit them later. But it will definitely encourage modification of some policies, as we are already seeing in Europe with the UK and North Sea investment, Germany going more to LNG from Qatar, and other countries will come along as well.
Right, I think what you said is extremely important. And final take, Carl, it's on OPEC policies from now on, because of course they are still reluctant to increase production despite pressure, US pressure, to be more precise. So I was wondering, if we take a look at current prices, not demand and supply dynamics, do you think the OPEC plus is doing the right decision, which means not ramping up production?
Alex, what is right? You see, because for me, I look at OPEC Plus when I look at their statements, and as something that they keep on repeating throughout meetings, throughout press releases, that is a dedication to ensuring market stability. But that seems that to me that this works when prices are going down, and that means that they have to interfere to put upward pressure on prices. But this commitment to market stability seems to be diluted in situations such as today. I understand where they are coming from when they say there aren't supply disruptions in the market, and what we see is fear. But this is exactly where you need a force such as OPEC Plus to come and say, to calm the market and say, we're going to help if needed, and not say, no, this is not our job, we cannot do anything for right now. So that's my take about OPEC. I don't know what is right or not right for them. It's quite a biased answer. But I say that if you believe in achieving market stability as your main mission, then it should be in both situations, when prices are going down and when prices are going up uncontrollably.
Right. Thank you very much. Carol Nakhle, CEO, Crystal Energy. Have a great day, Carol, and talk to you soon.
Thank you, Alex. You too.